Hi there, my name's Lee Chapman. I'm Professor of Climate Resilience at the University of Birmingham in the UK, and I'm just going to spend a couple of minutes telling you what it is that I do. I've actually been at the University of Birmingham for over 20 years now. I first went there to do my PhD in winter road maintenance back in 1998, and since then I've developed an interest in the impact of weather and climate on the built environment. So very interested in urban climatology, but also very interested in the impacts of meteorology on infrastructure networks like road and rail. The key methods I use for my research are the Internet of Things and sensor networks, things like urban meteorological networks. So some of you may have heard of my Birmingham Urban Climate Laboratory, a sensor network I installed nearly a decade ago. I'm currently installing a new one called the Birmingham Urban Observatory, which I'll talk about in a moment. I'm also very interested in responsible innovation, and I'll come back to that at the end of this introduction. So let's give you a bit of background to the Birmingham Urban Observatory. So we were fortunate enough to get £8 million from the UK Research Councils to set up a national network of urban observatories right across the UK. So we've now got urban observatories in Newcastle, Sheffield, Bristol, Manchester, Cranfield, and of course Birmingham. And each observatory's got a slightly different flavour. So I designed the Birmingham Urban Observatory to monitor the everyday impacts on green and grey infrastructure from an urban climatology perspective. So to give you some kind of idea of what sensors we've got out there, we've got a high resolution network of meteorological sensors, but we've also got opportunistic sensing being brought into this too, using devices like NetAtmo to supplement the equipment that we've put out ourselves. We've got grey infrastructure sensors which look at road surface temperature, and we've got green infrastructure sensors which look at things like sound and air quality. And all this is available in a non-proprietary data visualization platform. That platform is located at birminghamurbανobservatory.com, and you can click on that and view our data in real time. So for example, here is a map of all the nodes that we've got deployed across the city. You can then zero in on whichever parameter you like. So let's look at what air temperature was doing. This is a cool night in February, down to -2 degrees across the city. We can look at road temperature. Similar values there, -2, -3 on the roads. Anyway, what about my contribution to cost? So you can tell I've had experience of doing this kind of thing now for well over 10 years, using the Internet of Things, looking at crowdsourced data and deploying a network of sensors. So for me, I feel my key contribution to fairness is to Working Group 4, which is going to look at the future needs of meteorological networks and building long-term sustainability. And it's here where my experience tells me that the high-resolution measurement campaigns, like the Birmingham Urban Observatory, they're very rarely sustainable. And what I see time and time again is there's too much reinventing of the wheel, with people making the same mistakes in cities which have already been made elsewhere. So for example, the money often runs out after a couple of years and the networks just fall into disrepair. We need to think about what we can do to change that. So I'm very keen to take a responsible innovation stance of all this to make sure all the measurements we make in the future are both needed and sustainable.